it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome into Pregaming here on Sports Money. Monday to Friday, we get going 6 p.m. or about as close as we can get without going over. And looking to give you guys all that last minute information to help you make winning wagers. That's what we're here to do tonight. I'm fired up. Big card. Big card as far as action is concerned. Big card as far as action is concerned. Matter of fact, I just have to log this real quick. Yes. We've got Day Baseball. Enhanced members. We've locked in profit. Now we're trying to go for 3-1. Gave out a couple plays earlier today. The Yankees in the under 8.5 cash for us at +1. It was around 150. The Cubs in the under did not cash. I don't know what's going on with them Cubs bats. But then we cashed the ribeye. Only ribeye given out today was Corbin Carroll. He gets it done in the third inning against the Baltimore O's. That was a +185 price tag. And then we've got the Dodgers. Dodgers run line is the last play that we're sweating out. They just went ahead after falling behind. They went up 4-0. They went down 5-4. Now they're up 6-5. Seventh inning. So we know that they'll get the bat in the ninth as the road team. Not a bad day. Not a bad day. Locked in. Anytime we can be in the black, it's obviously a good day. But we have an opportunity, I think, to generate over 3 units here today. 3-1 with 3.5, something like that. I got to look at the math. It's pretty good, though. And that's good. It's good stuff. It's good to get winning ways under our belts. We're going to talk some baseball tonight. I got 3 games for you. We'll go back to Toronto and Boston. It's your cousin from Boston. I can't do it. I try it. We'll talk about that game, though. Yesterday, again, all over that Toronto spot. Should have given you guys that play. I told you I liked it. It cashed again because that Boston Penn's a mess. Told you guys. We're going to go to the Angels and Tampa Bay. Speaking of Pens being a mess. And then we'll close it out with Philly and Atlanta. Whoa, another Pen that's a mess. Huh? How did we thread that needle or what yesterday? We'll talk about that in a second. 3 hockey games for you guys. The Flyers and the Rangers. Fun way to get paid in that one. Calgary and Anaheim. St. Louis and the Edmonton Oilers. And then we'll close it out with the Denver Nuggets, Sacramento Kings. Peter Gracia checking in with us. Should be in the comments section. When you go in there. Good question. Let me take a look. When you jump in on our page, you look down below the comment section, I believe is where it's at. Let me check. Where you put your comment in there, to the right, you'll see that $sign, right? See that $sign? You give that a click, and that should get you set up and on your way. Should be a way to do it. Should be able to go out there and see memberships. Also, believe you can click on the description here and you'll see an option to be a member as well. Okay. Good stuff. Great question. Don't want anybody to miss out. I said this the other day. This is just something that we're happy to do. I know a lot of you guys reach out asking for more opportunities, more plays. I want to see the sticker options, huh? I will check it out, my man. I will check it out and see. But, those that do take the opportunity, we've got 155 gifted memberships is the actual number from last month. 155. And we're on a torrid pace again, which is incredible. For an extra $5, get you guys set up to get some of these plays that we're doing out there. Keeps the lights on for us, shows the appreciation for what we're doing, gets away from the awkwardness of I'll send you a tip if we win. And then nobody ever tips. And then you got to be called a deadbeat. That's just no good for anybody. Yeah, you can't get memberships from your phone. Thank you, Cameron Snett. That's a great point. Man, we got a lot to talk about. Here. First of all, I thought I was dead man walking. I had the over in the Dallas game last night. Little extra play that I jumped in on there. If you got the Dallas Stars, sit out hockey until the season's over. That's it. You're done. Sit it out. What an unbelievable situation. 3 goals, 1 minute? What? Never has that happened in NHL history. It was unbelievable. Now, I had the over, so I was feeling pretty darn good. Also, what took place yesterday? The Denver Nuggets fired their coach. Coach is out. Lost the locker room. Team had to move on. What's going on in the world of sports today? There was conversation that Connor McDavid might be coming back. Haven't seen the official lineup yet, but I don't suspect that to be the case. What else? What else is going on? Cameron Sinnett donate $19.99. So someone donate me a membership. Man, cheers. You got to have the memberships turned on. You have it, your ability. You have to go into your settings to be able to turn the membership, receive memberships, I think is what it's called. And it's your settings for YouTube, though. It's got nothing to do with this channel. You have to go into, and if you don't know how to do that, then make sure you check out the YouTube help section there, their community section. They will share with you how to turn on and be able to receive gifted memberships. All right, David Wells says he was able to do it on the phone. Speaking of phones, I got a new one coming here, and I got to sign for it. So I might have to step aside for a moment. It'll only be the second time in show history that I've had to step aside. You guys can DM me, too. We can talk a little bit about how to figure this thing out together. My DMs are always open for you guys. I love you guys, man. You know that. So I'm always happy to help and see what we can do. I appreciate the donos. Cameron Sinnett wants a gifted membership. Somebody get in there and basically, as Penny Feather says, he paid for one. He's asking for one. That's what he's asking for. Somebody to give him a membership. Anyhow, let's go. Let's talk about what else is happening in the world of sports. Well, big thing going on right now with the PGA and the LIV, for that matter. The LIV always makes me think of the HIV. I don't know why. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? It's 3 letters. It's pretty close to each other in the alphabet too. But anyhow, we recorded a video last night. Jeff and I, MMA Jeff and I, got together late night. Just kind of yucked it up a little bit. Actually, I thought it was a really good video. Not just because we did it, but I like the format, just kind of talking back and forth, sharing some thoughts, sharing some notes. Look, we loaded it up. We got top 5, top 10, top 20s. Jeff's got plus 400s, plus 700s out there for top 5s. And I mean, it's really worth the listen. Not just because we filmed it, and I think so, but great money. Not just to take the big score. A lot of you guys, now it's the majors, everyone's masters, everyone's a golf bettor now, right? There's a lot of different ways to get to this golf cash. And it's not just about taking the big bang and trying to cash that 50-1 outright winner. Top 5s, top 10s, top 20s. I put together a make the cut parlay. It's 3 legs. I want to say it's plus 165. All these players have to do is make the cut. Additionally, I gave out some top 20s, top 10s, first round leaders. So Thursday will be the first round leader, and then obviously the outright leaders. So you get in there, you check it out, you make it happen. And I'll give you guys a little hint. First of all, we need you to listen to the videos all the way through. That's the most important thing you can do for us. That and hit the thumbs up button, of course. But if you're going to watch it back, just put it at 1.5 speed. Put 1.5 speed. You can listen to it. 1.5 speed. And you'll get there faster. Unless you want to listen to the whole thing. But it's all good. It's all fun. And there's a lot of great golf plays out there. Also, we uploaded the Dan and Smythe rugby plays. Those are out there for you guys to check out today. Them boys went 2-0 yesterday. 2-0 yesterday. Or yesterday, last week. 2-0 last week. With their big plays, their ladder challenge as well. So the rugby action is up there, and it is loaded and ready to go. So you got golf video, you got rugby video. VB MMA and Ramon Scott shot their UFC portion of our MMA content yesterday. That is out there for you guys to check out. And we will have First Strike ready to go tonight. Probably be out there around 10 p.m. as we always do. The UFC playbook is cooking. We're going to load that thing up here and continue to load it up throughout the week. And, excuse me, I think that brings us current. All right. Let's just give a quick highlight to yesterday. Look, started off firing on the card yesterday. Firing. Cash the Sabres plus 190. Also talked about Tage Thompson as a goal scorer. That was plus 175, I believe. Got it done. Plus 1,000 for the first goal scorer. Tage Thompson. Yeah, we bet hockey. Cash the Canadiens. 4-1. A lot of fun in that game. You knew that. I mean, I was telling MMA Jeff when we were getting ready to do the golf video there, I was like, man, I just kept fucking hammering on Montreal Live because you knew that Detroit needed that point. The goalie was coming out in that game. And the live opportunity at minus 1.5 was sitting there at like plus 180 into the third period. It was like, yeah, okay, we'll fire on that as well. Canadians got the win. The under 5.5 cashes for us in the Florida Panthers Toronto Maple Leafs game. Florida gets the win as well. We talked about Florida and the under. We cashed on the under. 3-1 final. Philly first five. 5-3. They're up at the end of the first five. That was a fun first five. They went up 1-0. They went down 3-1. They come back 5-3. And then they lose the game outright. So we got in and we got out with our first five money. Absolutely nailed that thing. Threaded the needle. Speaking of threading the needle, we got the KC game 2-1. Extra innings, 2-1 final. KC cashes for us in the MLB. Also, the big one for us, the Boston Celtics won by 2. Why is that important? That line was fluttering between the twos, basically between the threes. I don't know where it actually ended up. But I do know this. We took margin of victory for 1 to 10 points on DraftKings at plus 225. 220, I'm sorry. Plus 220. It cashed. They won by 2. Tell me anybody else that gave a play like that. You can't, because I don't think anybody did. The Islanders, sadly taking L for us. The Islanders somehow let Nashville score 7 goals. That is an atrocity. Nashville. They just wouldn't go away. Guess they're playing for some contract incentives. The Timberwolves blew it at the end. The Bucks come back and win that game by 7 points. And, we took a shot. Seattle, you guys were on it. You guys talked about it. Great job. Seattle in the second leg of a back-to-back's like 0-13 now. And this is why I said we take the plus 190, not the plus 1.5. Because they're either going to win the game or they're going to get blown out. And they got blown out. So if you took the Sabres plus 1.5, you left all that plus money on the table, and they beat them up. And if you took the plus 1.5, you laid juice for that Seattle beatdown. It was never close. It was 1-0 before I even realized the game started. Literally. Like the puck dropped, and they must have dropped it in the goal. So in any event, that was a loss, and then the Golden State Warriors closed it out. Got the hook. Got hooked. Literally, the hook to close out the night. So it started out great. Still ended up in the profit for the day. Just didn't finish the way we wanted it to. So any day you're in profit is a good day, though, as they say. So let's go. Let's get to work today. I know our guy Jover did check in from out of town, and he dropped a nugget for us here. One of his best bets that he likes out there. I think he posted it in the comments section for Ramon's show. But he likes the over in Cleveland. That popped off like right now. Is popping off like right now. So Jover's got an over. Surprise. But we hope he's having a good time down there in Florida. FLA. It's time for us to get to work. You guys know the most important thing you can do here is help us grow this channel by way of the thumbs up button. I'm going to run a little contest. When you check out First Strike, I'm going to put a little contest in First Strike here. A little contest. you're going to have to put a comment in the video. But we'll have a nice little duck race at the end for everybody that gets involved. It'll be fun. But before we get there, before we even get close to Saturday, we're here tonight, hump day, Wednesday. Smashing that thumbs up button lets YouTube know this is the best damn show on the planet, at the best damn network on the planet. And it's only been a minute, but we're growing like gangbusters, and it's all because of you guys taking the time to do that with us. So make sure you hit that thumbs up button and we'll get to work. Okay. Okay. Let's do this thing. You guys ready? I'm ready. Gerald Jones is ready. He's been firing. He's got 6-week run going on. This man's been on a heater. And he's going to go with the Portland -3.5 in the first half. I will write that down. Portland -3.5 in the first half for Gerald Jones. Appreciate you sharing, my man. Congrats on the streak and keep her rolling, my friend. Joe Dubs here. Stop Geo's up in this piece. What's up, Stop Geo? Peter Grassi is ready to roll. Appreciate you guys all coming in, supporting. J Main 34. Thank you guys, man. Red Beard's here. He's ready to roll. 155 by 5. Nice. I'm not sure what that means. 155 by 5. Oldie saying, what's up, squad? And of course, Cameron Sinet says, someone donate me a membership. Make sure you guys get it all right. We appreciate the donos. David Wallace is here. Ignatius Penny Feather the 7th. Zoe Fake is here. Appreciate all you guys ready to go fill the kill. He agrees with my sentiment on 3-letter words that end in IV, or acronyms that end in IV. I appreciate all you guys, man. Let's go. Here's Ramon's in the house. Redbeard's rocking with us here. Zoe says 1.5 speed is where it's at. You know, I'm surprised. I learned that a long time ago, and I said it to somebody the other day, and I just thought it was common knowledge. We had to go. I was back when I was a young lad, and we had to go to this training, and they were like, you have to watch these videos. It's fucked up. They kept you down there for like 2 weeks, and they had like 6 hours of videos after you're in class all day. And I'm like, what the fuck? How am I going to, this is a lot, dude. And then that's when the trainer was like, dude, 1.5 speed it. Don't be such a noob. I'm like, all right, you got me. Okay. Never forget it. It's also a good way to catch up on the show. If you ever catch up come into a show late, you want to catch it from the beginning, 1.5 speed it. Once it gets to the live segment of the show, like once you're caught up, it'll kick back to 1x speed. All right, that's enough. That's enough. Lexicon's here. Ramon Scott has been running so hot. Except me. He says the whole chat was on Orlando except me. AOD's up in the house. Phil the Kill says, I feel shame and regret taking the Marlins +1.5. But a dub's a dub, I suppose. Yeah. Mets, man. What I say? You can't count on them. You know who's going on the shit list? The Mets. Effective today. Mets. Man. Anytime you need to count on them to score, you can't do it. It's like the Sabres for me. Can't count on the Sabres to score when I need them to score. Stirring Company says, Tage, anytime goal. Cooch over 1.5 points. Let's go, man. We cover a lot. We cover a lot of action. You guys rock, man. Appreciate everybody. Let's go. Let's get to work here, huh? Let's fire this thing up. We got Zoface's Guardians pitching, going to give up some runs. Agreed. AOD's hitting on some Goose Island IPAs. Trevor Davis is up in the house. What's up, Trevor? Appreciate all you guys rocking here. Let's go. Mitchie Morber's up in this piece. He likes the Angels' first 5 money line. Trevor Davis is on the over 5.5 in the Oilers game. My man Keith, each and every stride. I know he's getting ready for some golf. I'm fired up for golf. I am fired up for some golf. I love the first round leaders. That's my degeneracy in me. I want to get this. I want to take the big score on Thursday and then see if I can run it back on Saturday. Maybe you want to look at JJ Spawn. Maybe I talked about JJ Spawn in the video. And maybe you want to add him as a first-round leader. And maybe JJ Spawn as a first-round leader. Let me take a look at what he's paying. The reason I reference him, he did tie for first in the par 3 challenge today. He has been firing tee to green. He's been playing very well. JJ Spawn, where are you? JJ Spawn, 70-1 first-round leader. 70-1. It's hard as hell to get those first-round leaders, man. Somebody always fires up the board. And then everyone else is trying to catch up to that number for the rest of the day. So, Timmy Two Shoes in the house. He says Panarin, Zuccarello, Kadri goals, and Dante. 35 points plus 38. There's a nice little score. Gets me fired up. Gets me thinking about baseball. Yesterday, 2 days now, have been all over this Blue Jays team. Not so much being all over the Blue Jays team. I mean, yeah, we've been betting them. Clearly, cashing with them. But situational spots. I definitely like to pay attention to, as much as I don't care about who the starter is for pitching that I talked about yesterday. I do care what's going on. I want to see how many pitches are they using? How deep do they go into the bullpen? Do they toss games away and start putting the outfielders up there to throw meatballs across the bump and everything else? But this line opened up at minus 125 for the Red Sox. 60% of the bets, 59% of the cash. The line has moved 2 cents. 2 cents Red Sox, so it went to minus 127. It's moved 9 cents again away from the Blue Jays, so it's plus 114. 8.5s with the over have dropped. There's 8s out there now with 90% of the bets and 93% of the cash sitting on this over. And it's Tanner Houck, Kevin Gausman. That's it. That's the end of the cat. Maybe you don't know. Maybe this is new to some of you guys, but not a Gausman fan. Regardless of being a Gausman fan or not here, I think this is a Red Sox get back and get shit moving in the right direction situation. It's tough to lock teams down, sweep them out here. They lost the first game 6-2. They lost the second game 6-1. But I think this is a bounce back opportunity for Tanner Houck. We've seen that these bats can get cooking. I mean, they scored 13 runs against St. Louis and then backed it up 2 days later with an 18-pack before this series. Toronto just had their number. They were fucking around with their pitching. They couldn't get everything situated. They had gone deep, 6-7 pitchers deep out there. Barrios, the situation with Barrios and the move from day 2 to day 1. There was just a lot of moving parts that kind of got, I think, Boston watching the bouncing ball, right? If you ever seen the bouncing ball video, like when the ball's bouncing, you can't see the fucking giant gorilla that's behind it because you're so fixated on the bouncing ball. And that's the way I would describe what's going on with this Boston team right now. I think they do come back here tonight. I think that we're seeing the line moving in their direction, albeit it's not a huge move. I'm just not getting into the Gausman business here. He's going to have to do a hell of a lot more to show me what he's got up his sleeve, what he's capable of. Now, I have heard some things about pitching and, has he been working on increasing, the arsenal of pitches that he can throw out there? I don't necessarily get down with all of that. I think we see runs in this game on both sides of the equation. I think they both leak. I just think this is a spot where it's hard to sweep a team at home. And Toronto's already got, that Mets series underway. Now they're against this Red Sox team here. So this could be a little bit of a road-weary team as well. And, chilly conditions potentially, but, Tanner Houck's got to bounce back is what it comes down to. I don't think he's playing as bad. I know he's playing poorly. He had 2 strikeouts in his, 2 Ks. Then he had a 6, though. So he's definitely in a bounce back situation. And on surface, when you look at these guys, when you look at his ERA particularly, and you see that 6.52, it was a shit first game. You go out there and mow some dudes down with the old K business out there. I don't know if he gets the strikeout prop here tonight, though. I'm not in love with it. I just think he's going to play better and outperform. And I think it's enough for the Red Sox to get this victory. It's a 6:40 start, so that's going to be coming up here in about 10 minutes. Move on to game number 2. We're going to go to Tampa Bay, and we're going to talk about the Angels and the Rays. And it's kind of a similar situation. I think the Angels are that team where we look at what are they doing, over the course of, the full game. Like, if you're going to play the Angels, I think you got to play the Angels first 5. And then see what happens to them over the course of the rest of the game. I'm not a Kikuchi guy. It's Kikuchi versus Pepio. And I told you the other day, It was last series. I'm high on Pepio this year. He's played well. I mean, he's 0-1, but he's held it down to a 2.45 ERA. Man, he blazed his first day. K-prop galore. This guy was, I don't remember exactly how many. He was fucking firing. That being said, we look at kind of recent performances here, and Tampa Bay has had their hands full. They got down by the Rangers and swept. They lost the first game to the Angels out there the other day, and now they're firing back at him again. It was a 4-3 spot, though. And it's the way the team finished that kind of got me a little bit more inspired. Like, I was on Camanero's RBI. Felt really good about being dialed into that piece. And he got there for us. He smashed it. But when I talk about the finish, that seventh inning, when they got – so we talk about I think the Angels' first 5, you can get in there. You can make some good money with them. But over the stretch of the game, they snuck that win out. Sure, they scored in the 9th inning, but they did have that looseness. When they started going back to their bullpen, they gave up a 3 spot, and it got ugly fast for them, and they needed Jansen to come in there and get the save. Is he going to get the save for you every single day? I don't know. 60% of the bets – I'm sorry, 68% of the bets, 64% of the cash on an oscillating line. Hasn't really moved on either side. The total is getting slammed. 93% of the bets, 90% of the cash are on the over. In fact, we're seeing 7.5s out there. So is this a pitching duel? Kikuch. We know Kikuch from his Toronto days. Sporting a 4.5 ERA. And 0-1 on his season. His early young season to get it started. Pepio, on the other hand, again, 2.46 ERA. Maybe my being high on this guy is influencing my thought process for this game. But I think overall, not just that, I think we're getting the benefit of a discounted rate for this Tampa Bay team because they have lost 4 straight games right now. Overall, through 2 starts, all Pepio's done is allow 3 runs in 11 innings, by the way. So he's getting past his first 5 mark with ease. Struck out 11 hitters. It's crazy. 11 Ks, only 3 runs, 11 innings. The K per inning rate. Those are the metrics that you want to look and focus on over the course of baseball season. I know it's early. I think the end of the day, too, that this, look at what Mike Trout. He looks lost. Looks old. Looks like he's about to get injured. Kikuchi going in there. Like I said, I'm not high on this guy. 2 starts deep as well for this dude. 4.5 ERA is not going to cut it. And, the thing that Tampa Bay can do is they can smack around lefties. So if anybody's going to get smacked here, I think it's a good spot to smack Kikuchi. See Tampa Bay find a way to get this win. Get out of this game and find that freaking W. And move on to this last game that we're going to talk about here in Philadelphia and Atlanta. What's going on here? There we go. Philadelphia and Atlanta, the Phillies and the Braves. Not high on Atlanta's opening pitching. Not high on Philadelphia's bullpen. Jay Main says Red Sox tune Gausman up. I think so too. Gausman's like a midsummer dude. Like after he loses 6 in a row, he snaps back and he's like mowing everybody down. And they're like, wow, where was this guy to start the season? That's Gausman to me. As a Toronto fan, regularly fade them. But I've seen enough of it. I've seen enough. All right. Peter Gracia says, too bad Trout years were a waste of talent. Yeah. They wanted him in Philly. And he's a Philly guy. I don't think he wanted to play with Bryce Harper. I think that's the problem. And then he got that ultra mega million contract, and it just nothing materialized from there. And that's okay. He still shows up to Philly Eagles games. We like to see him in the stands. But the Phillies and the Braves, speaking of Bryce Harper and what we've got going on the other side of things here, nice little spot play again. I think 3 spot plays here today. Fading Gausman, taking Tampa at a discount. That rate should be way more than what they're looking at with Pepio on the bump. And then last but not least here, we've got Walker and Holmes popping off here. Walker and Holmes. And 7-3 Phillies are having an incredible season. Did they wake the bats up in Atlanta? Potentially the question that has to be asked here. You look at yesterday's game as the example, 7-5. I'm a big proponent, especially when you're mid-series with these games. the way a team ends is kind of the way that they start, right? Meaning, yeah, we saw they didn't quit. They didn't give up. They were down 5-3 in the first 5. And they fired back. They shut them down. They played bullpen ball. That I think is the advantage for Atlanta. Their bats got hot in the second half at the right time, and they beat up that weak suspect bullpen in Philadelphia. This line opened up at plus 102 for the Phillies. 61% of the bets are on the Phillies, but only 44% of the cash. The lines moved 23 cents against them. Plus 125 are the best numbers you can find right now for the Phils. Total's gone from 9. There's some 8.5s out there. Excuse me. Excuse me. 95% of the bets, 95% of the cash on the over. And we're not really seeing that correlated movement behind this thing. And this is a spot I want to get involved with. Fading the Phils. I'm going to take Holmes. What's up, Holmes? 7.2 ERA. Does that continue? I don't think it matters. I think you got, obviously, bats can smack it out there. But the line movement is interesting to me. It does tell me it's a tighter game. Walker, for all his ups and downs, man, he did come off a pretty decent start. 6 scoreless innings. We'll see if Holmes can hang into this one. At the end of the day, for me, this is just, I think there's just too many things moving. There's too many peripherals happening here. I think it's a great, great spot to take this Atlanta Braves team. And I'm going to take my fire down. I just don't like that bullpen for Philly. Speaking of bullpens, I don't like either. The Yankees bullpen might be in the Yankees closer. Man, I thought they were going to shit that game away. 4-3 Detroit after shutting them down the entire day. I mean, I guess their bullpen's okay. It's their closer that's kind of a pile of shit. But you know what we saw here? Game number 2 in this series here. Braves got the first one. I think you're getting a discount again because this Braves team is 2-8 on the season. And look, they battled. I just don't know, if you're the Phillies and you just played the Dodgers, now you're playing Atlanta and you're just kind of getting roughed up and smacked around a little bit early in the season. Chris Kempty says they did pitch against the Rockies. That is true. That is true. How about some trends? You guys want some trends? I'll tell you some trends. This is a weird one. Walker. If he's starting after a game that he allowed 1 or more hits, he's 0-10. As long as he didn't pitch a no-hitter, he loses the next game. That's the inconsistency factor out there. By the way, every one of those losses was with Philly. So I know he's been a journeyman to some degree. It's an interesting stat. And not only is he losing, he's losing by 3.5 runs a game. I think that makes sense. As long as he didn't go off a no-hitter. And I would even think if he did have a no-hitter, I love fading the guy the next game after a no-hitter. So that's a weird trend. I'm not a Walker fan. On the other side of things, though, Atlanta finds themselves 9-0 when the total's less than 10.5. And they scored 5 or more runs while an opponent had a 2 or greater run lead. That's the comeback that I described there yesterday in that second half. 9-0. They're winning those games by 2.8 runs a spot as well. Probably could lay the run line. What is the run line? Out of curiosity. It's the only problem I have with the run line. Yeah, you're cutting out the bottom of the 9th. I know a lot of people talk about that too. It is factored into the pricing though. So with all due respect to those people that do say, well, it's the home team, I don't want to take the run lines. Maybe the -1. If you take the -1, you could catch a -106. That's a reasonable number too. I like some juice. I don't mind. It's only juice if you get squeezed. I'll take that situation and Walker being inconsistent and a team finishing starting the way they finished. Pops us into the NHL. Derek says he's on exactly what I'm on. Let's hope it's a good sign. All right. Jamie, hurt my heart. All right. It's golf season, man. I got to get the golf polo on. I don't know. This one just kind of popped out. This one was just sitting there saying Put me on. Talking about my holsters. All right, the NHL, we got ourselves a spot with the Flyers and the Rangers. Look, we talked yesterday. I think this is a spot that Toronto wins. I think they lost that game yesterday against Florida. I think Tampa Bay, they got Vasilevsky, but they kind of told you how Toronto was going to approach this Florida series by way of starting Wool yesterday and having Stolarz going today. 18-8-3 is Stolarz, 2.26 goals against average, 92.2% save percentage. It is Vasilevsky on the other side of things here. I just feel like this is a nice price tag to take a Toronto team that's, fifth straight start before getting a day off. Picks up a 5-0 win over the Blue Jackets. Stolarz is firing right now. Team needs him. I like that spot. Nothing official. Kolosov and Jonathan Quick. Since the coaching transition and Brad Shaw takes over, the Flyers have found themselves 3-1. Kolosov, 3.44 goals against average, 87% save percentage, just 4-8 on the season. Johnny Quick, giving Igor Shesterkin a little relief. Their season's busted up as well. 10-6-2, 3.03 goals against average, 89.8% save percentage. Rangers are 0-2. They just blew it. I guess technically they're still technically alive for the playoffs here. They're just not scoring. They got outscored 9-1. Here's the situation, though. This is a strong revenge opportunity. What did I say, too? We'll have to check tape. The Flyers and the Rangers will be playing at the end of the season, and one of those teams will be playing for an opportunity to get in the playoffs. And that's where we're at. It just happens to be the Rangers that are in that position. So that being said, this is the revenge opportunity. It's the bounce back. You were a road favorite. You lost. Now you're the home favorite situation. We've talked about it all year long. Question is, how are you going to go get paid? You got a juicy, juicy price tag with this thing here. So you got to get cute. Now, that being said, the Flyers at home, after they fired Torts, have been fired. Flyers are firing after the firing. Not so much on the road, though. But there has been a highlight. I think Tortorella lost his mind because he likes to play the psychological warfare and call his players out. We all know somebody that's been like that, whether it be a boss or a coach or whatever. And sometimes it gets the results. But when the dude's fucking Russian and doesn't speak a lick of English, you're just wasting your effort. And look, Mishkov, since the firing, 16 shots on goal, 7 points. That's averaging 4 shots a game. Over the last 10 games, the Rangers have allowed 3 goals or more 8 times. Mishkov should get plenty of opportunities to shoot this thing. He is the primary weapon on offense. They love this rookie. They want to see him pad the stats, get them numbers up there, keep it rolling, become the rookie of the year, and all the rest that goes into it. So he will be the feature piece of the offense for the Philadelphia Flyers. So I'm going to do a little cross parlay. I've got his over 2.5 shots on goal. And I parlayed it with the Rangers to win in that bounce back revenge spot. They'll shuffle the lineup for the Rangers, but they're not entirely dead. So they should have some fire in their bellies. And maybe getting Shesterkin out of there and throwing Jonathan Quick back in is the answer that they have out there. It's plus 165. Over 2.5 shots on goal for Mishkov and the Rangers. I'm excited. I don't think I've played Mishkov in any facet this year. So it's better late than never, I guess. But I'm going to take a shot with his shots. My last shots on goal prop shit the bed because I don't know what the hell happened with Alex Ovechkin. I saw the guy got 2 goals, and then I watched him take 3 more shots, and they didn't count any of those shots. I don't know what the hell happened there, but that's the last time I took a shot on goal prop. But I'm going to take it here. I'm going to take Mishkov. I'm going to take the Rangers, and I'm going to take a plus 165 parlay action to get us paid. A little 2-legger as well. Let's go. We got next. Calgary and Anaheim. Speaking of another team that's still got, pretty much, I said this the other day. We're trying to find all these teams that have shit to play for. And that pretty much is the Calgary Flames in this situation. They should be able to lock down the playoffs and get into this thing here. They're 4 points behind in the final wild card spot in the West, the Calgary Flames. They need this win. Need it. 4 points back. Have a game in hand on the Minnesota Wild. So they got to get every win they can. They got to come out maximum effort. Really good spot for the Flames, because when you look at what's going on from the Anaheim Ducks side of the house, well, they're terrible. This isn't, hey, we'll take them on the puck line on the road. I mean, they're terrible. They've allowed 3.33 goals per 60 minutes of 5-on-5 situations. That's sixth worst in the league over the last 2 weeks. They've fallen off. The issue is the Flames aren't necessarily world beaters in scoring. 2.36 goals per 60 minutes of 5-on-5 time is 16th. It's dead smack in the middle. Only scoring 2.02 goals, 8th lowest. I mean, they're not firing. They're not scoring. Realize I didn't talk about the goaltenders here. My fault. Dustin Wolf, Ville Husso, who was released from the Detroit Red Wings. 1-6-2 on his season. This should be a spot. The more I look at it, I just don't want to lay juice with this Calgary Flames team. I mean, minus 155. I guess they're still alive technically, so they got to push and they got to shove. But I'm going to play the under in this game. What we know about this season as it's unfolded here is the Pacific Division, for some reason, battles each other with intensity. The unders are flying off the shelf. Home Pacific Division off a home win. 52-22 to the under. 9-1 in its last 10. 6.5 be the prevailing number across the books. Should be a playoff game. Playoff game means you're stepping in front of shots. You're not letting them go wild out there, shooting the puck all over the place. We saw the reckless abandon that these teams have, like Vancouver, trying to get their playoff hopes alive. We saw even Detroit, although they were outmatched, and we had the divisional opponent home favorite factor going in our direction there with both those teams, the Florida Panthers and the Montreal Canadiens last night. But I think this is a spot where we look at this under. I think this is just two lower scoring teams going out there, doing everything they can not to score. Probably see early goals, and then I panic and I sweat, and we finish it off with a close. But I got the under 6.5. I think that's a good money maker for us there. Last game. I also like the under in the San Jose Sharks game, by the way. So I like the Flames. I like the Leafs. I gave you the Mishkov over 2.5 shots in Rangers play. I like the under in that Sharks and Wild game. I'm on the under in the Calgary-Anaheim game. And I'm not going to go to the under in the St. Louis Blues-Edmonton Oilers game here. I'm going to go back to the Blues. I faded them. I've been a Blues whisperer. 4 games before we started talking about this, they were losing. We called it to that LA Kings game. After this game, we're going to start playing on it. And then they went on that monster streak of, 13 straight games? That's being dialed in, boys and girls. And you can go back and check tape. They're going to go to Jordan Binnington, and Calvin Pickard will be on the other side. The reason I'm going back to these guys is because we talked about this the other day on the fate of Edmonton. Everybody's gone. Actually, I think we were on the under, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody's out. Stewart, Skinner, getting ready to come back, not back. So they go to Pickard. It's done all right. 26 of 28 saves in his last goal game. Nobody scored. It was the LA Kings. 3-0 lost. Shut out. Because they're injured. It's finally, the tide is washed away. I said the other day, you can see all those broken bottles on the shoreline. That being said, that was a 12-game winning streak. They took that L. That was a gift. That number at minus 200 for Winnipeg was telling you everything you needed to know. I'm going to jump back in on the Blues with this game, though. Minus 110s now, pretty much across the board. So they have taken some late movement. I think the movement really had to do with Connor McDavid. Was he going to come back or not? And you got Connor McDavid out, Leon Draisaitl out, Stuart Skinner out, and then you've got my favorite diagnosis. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, illness. Sickness running around that Edmonton locker room on top of everything else. Oh, I'll be right back. I told you I was going to have to do this. Package is here. Sorry about that. Signature required means the guy shows up right in the middle of the show. That's the second time that's happened. Okay, let's go to the last. Let's go to the last game. Let's go to the last game as well. We got the coaches fired angle, the Denver Nuggets. And you want to try to find motivation. And that's what we're trying to find. Appreciate that, my man. You know, thank you, Zoe. Playing was one thing, but it wasn't until coaching that the game really evolved. Taught me a lot about the X's and O's and the Jimmys and Joes. So I enjoy the sport too. So it makes it, sometimes you know too much about a sport and it gets in your way. Sometimes you don't know shit about a sport and you can fire. I'm somewhere in between here with Denver and the Kings. I don't really care for the NBA. I love college basketball. The NBA is just so tricky. And it's just like, there's so many rules. And they're bullshit rules. That's soft rules. Can't play on the second leg of a back-to-back. Teams don't play defense on the second leg of it. It just has to do with like no heart. No heart, no hustle, no muscle. That's my problem with the NBA. That being said, though, I love to take an opportunity when they fire a coach. Mike Malone gets the axe. I mean, the guy spent a decade with the Nuggets, and he takes the axe because he lost the room, is what it came down to. They were also talking about some different, there was just a mess in Denver, is what it sounded like. Difference in philosophical opinions between the way that the coaches and the ownership were going about things. Issues with some player and personnel. Dude's a hard-nosed asshole. And, he's like the Tortorella. And these guys are, just off of a championship 2 years ago. They don't want to hear it. And they still got the best talent of a lot of teams out there in the NBA. Jokic, Murray, Porter. Looking at this game, they're going to go to Dave Adelman. He'll be the former assistant, now going to be the interim coach. I don't think this team needs a coach. I think they can figure it out on their own. Bottom line is this. They're fired up and trying to keep their playoff position alive. They're tied with the Clippers, the Warriors, and the Grizzlies with a 47-23 record. They need this game. First and foremost. Now, just because they need it doesn't mean it equates to getting it, but the Kings don't need it. The Kings clinched a playoff spot or play-in spot yesterday. So you got the coaches fired angle. You got the Kings checked out. They're on the second leg of a back-to-back. And they already clinched their play-in spot. Right now, you got the Denver situation where they're one game ahead of Dallas. One game ahead. Now, getting into the teams themselves, if you want to get past all of those kind of outside situations, those externalities, Denver scores more points a game than Sacramento, 121-116. They're on a monster losing streak, and yet they're in a position where they're coming in as a favorite. Their point differential is better. They're 3.1 points better in point differential, adding up the home and away, the two scores. The point differential, 3.6 to 0.5, is another advantage out there. And frankly, Denver plays better away from home. 22-17 on the road. They play well against the West at 29-20. They've already taken boot to ass on the Sacramento team, and that was without Jamal Murray. So you got all those factors going in. Now, let me cap this off with two trends for you guys. Trend number one, rested road favorites versus a team that's got 3 games in 4 nights. This is like that NBA rule shit. But it's true. It's 8-2 in its last 10 spots that's occurred. The rested road favorite comes through and gets the victory. Also, if you're blown out as a road dog and now you're a road favorite, you're 62-32. Lots of advantage here to get involved with this Denver Nuggets squad here. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay the 4.5 with the Denver Nuggets. That'll be the way that we wrap up shop. I was going to see if there was anything else. The Lakers, first quarter, they crush it in the first quarter continually. Was it like 11 of, no, it's even more than that. I can't remember what the exact number was. I looked at that one, but I'm not really big into the first quarter spots. I like the under. Yeah, you know what? I'll give you guys the under. Let me look at this really quick. So I was looking at a couple of different unders I wanted to get involved with today. Yeah. Let's go to the under in that Lakers game. Lakers in Dallas, 86% of the bets, 84% of the cash on the over. 228's dropped to 226.5. I'll just keep it short with you guys. I'm going to add this. This can be an ad. It's going to start here at 7:30. Unrested team coming off a spread loss of 3 points or more versus a team with a better record, 48-22 to the under in those positions on the total. And they're cruising under by 8.5 points per scenario. So it's moved 2 points against the original opener. We're still within the margin of victory and coverage. And I think it's telling us that there's going to be some antics here. Well, you still see a 227, by the way. There's still a 227 out there at FanDuel. They have not moved the book yet. I'm going to go to that under. I'm going to add that one. The Mavericks, they just played the Clippers twice in LA, so they're still in LA, so they're not really, well, actually, I guess I'm sorry, they're back in Dallas now. But they only scored 91 points and then 104 points. And the Lakers, on the other hand, I know it's dangerous because the Lakers can be an over team here, but Dallas needs to play some defense because they're hanging on to the slimmest of hopes, as we mentioned, against that Denver situation. So we'll go to the under. We'll take that under. We'll put the bow on the show that way here. We'll take the under 227 official play for us. We'll add that last minute officioso. That's how we're going to do it. Stop Gio says, lock it in. Tyree Eason, 10 plus rebounds at plus 600. No saying. I like that look. I'll write that one down. Let's go. Apologize again. I had to sign for a package. What it is here. Just so you can see I'm not completely full of shit. I might be, but not as it relates to going and having to sign for this package. Okay. Joe W says, anything on the Bulls Heat? I did not. But let me see. Wow, the Dodgers can't get the run line. 1-run win. Not enough. Dodgers. Of any of the angles, the under fits that angle. Same scenario as the Dallas Lakers game. And that's it. That's all I got. Wish I could be more helpful. I just want to kind of go easy with the NBA. We've had a nice week thus far. I want to keep it going, keep it growing. I appreciate all you guys. So stay tuned for First Strike tonight. we will have a special little announcement inside of there, and going to do some giveaways. Congratulations again on the March Madness bracket. We'll talk about all those winners and awards to be handed out, all the merch and stuff on Saturday's show. In the meantime, though, good luck with all your bets. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button. On behalf of everybody here at the Sports Money Network, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Believe it in what we're doing here on a regular basis. That means an absolute ton. I appreciate you guys gifting the membership. There's Cameron Sinnett. Appreciate the $19.99 dono, my friend. You guys have any questions, reach out to me via X. You can hit me on DM at PimSlatPOD. Make sure you do follow at Sports Money Wins on X. Anytime we drop content, release those afternoon plays, all that fun stuff, you'll find it there. And you don't want to miss out because sometimes YouTube can be a little slow with the notifications. That's going to do it, you guys. Have yourselves a great evening. Good luck with your bets.